Good afternoon and welcome.
Thank you, Shay. I'm very pleased to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Daizy Gedeon on Oz Arab Media. For our viewers, I'm sure most of them know me by now. My name is Shay Gitani, and we have the very special privilege here on Oz Arab Media to have Daizy Gedeon. Daizy Gedeon is an award-winning filmmaker, journalist, and human rights activist. Daizy Gedeon believes in the power of storytelling. Daizy Gedeon works to ensure that people all around the world believe in their personal power, and that personal power is there to really be able to help them make changes in their own lives and the lives of others. Daizy is working on a very special campaign that's close to the hearts of many. It's called the Hands Off Lebanon campaign, and today we'll be looking into the details of that campaign a lot more. And I'm going to hand over to Daizy very soon to talk about it. I know it's something that's very close to your heart, extremely passionate. I can see that in what you bring to everything you do, whether that be your journalism or your filmmaking. Like I mentioned to you, we're extremely privileged to have you here today and can't wait to hear about this next campaign. So over to you, Daizy. If you could tell us a little bit about this new campaign. What would you like to highlight, especially now, given everything that's going on?
Well, thank you very much, Shay, and to Oz Arab Media for hosting me on this interview, and especially at this particular time. As you mentioned, we have a very important campaign that's launching on the 24th of November in Sydney. It's the first time ever that the global Lebanese diaspora has put their hands together to unite under one call to action, which is Hands Off Lebanon. Right now, Lebanese around the world are furious, crying in pain. They're suffering because of what's going on in Lebanon, the damage and destruction being undertaken by Israel upon our land and our people. The people in Lebanon, where I've just come from just a few weeks ago, I landed back in Sydney after living in Beirut for the last nearly 3 years, experiencing the destruction, the bombing by Israel on Lebanon was horrific and just soul-destroying and frightening for our people. And this is why the global diaspora groups across the world, from France, United States, Canada, Germany, the United Kingdom, South America, the GCC, and us here in Australia have decided to launch this campaign and call on all Lebanese in the diaspora in those countries to come out on November 24 and stand up for Lebanon and voice our complete abhorrence at what's going on and demand that our government here in Australia, for us, the Australian government, support our right to sovereignty and independence and a life without foreign interference. That's the core of this campaign.
Thank you for that, Daizy. Could you explain to me a little bit more, how is this campaign different than what you've done previously?
Well, in previous campaigns, there are lots of diaspora groups around the world who have arisen, especially after Thawra and the August 4 blast. So many Lebanese around the world decided to create groups and speak up for Lebanon. But in this instance, we're facing an annihilation. Those extreme dangers were very difficult for Lebanon, but nothing like what we're facing right now. And so this campaign stands out from every other because we're forced to face an enemy that's trying to destroy us, kill our people, and it's a war, a psychological war, as well as a war of military domination. And that's what's really, distinguished it differently from other campaigns. We've been involved in the Thawra revolution, the August 4, and the economic collapse of the country when the banking crisis failed. There were so many instances. But on this occasion, it's the worst that we've ever seen. And that's why it's called on something deeper within us to stand up, to speak out, and to be faced. It's facing annexation. What we're looking at now, right now, is potentially being annexed and occupied by Israel. That's its intention. If we truly understand the objective of Israel right now is to destroy Lebanon, make it uninhabitable as it's done to hundreds of villages in the south of Lebanon right now and in the Bekaa, so that it can move its forces in and occupy Lebanon. This has been publicly stated, even by politicians, Israeli politicians, their agenda, settler groups who are posting on websites and on social media how they want to, they've already advertising for settling and selling properties in South Lebanon. This is a completely different battle right now.
Thank you for that explanation, Daizy. I could tell that this is very close to your heart, but also that this view is echoed by many in the Lebanese community, whether that be here or in different countries. Could you provide us with some further detail on how you're working with Lebanese people around the world to pull off this campaign?
Yeah, so it was, just recently decided. It came up by a group in Paris, Change Lebanon. One of the members said we should unite. This is a tragedy and we should all unite. And it's only been active for about 3 weeks. So we've done a tremendous amount in 3 weeks. We've got our groups on WhatsApp, and we're working on WhatsApp in different groups, from the comms group, slogans group, the logistics group, all of those different aspects that require you to create an event. And we've worked exceptionally well together, with everyone putting forward their ideas and agreeing on a slogan, agreeing on the speech that needs to be made on the day, so that we're speaking with the same voice, making the same demands. And I think what's important about it is that Lebanese are always very active in defending Lebanon in the diaspora. But by standing for one call to action, under one call to action, and making the same demands of our government here in Australia, in France, in America, in Canada, all the way around the world, it's the first time global governments, the world, is seeing the diaspora, the Lebanese, standing together with clear demands and united under those clear demands, not because, of their religious persuasion or their political persuasion. This is about our sovereignty, it's about our independence, and we're all clear about the steps that need to be undertaken to achieve that and give us back our country.
Thank you, Daizy. So you've touched on this a little bit before. If you can provide our viewers with the inspiration behind this campaign from your personal story, recently coming back from Lebanon, and even the inspiration you see from those that lived around you while you were there.
Yeah, look, if I wasn't so in love with Lebanon and being Lebanese, not to take anything away from being Australian, I love it dearly, and I'm very grateful to have been brought up in this country and to have had all of the opportunities that the system in Australia provides me and has provided my children and all of us. But Lebanon is also a very integral and important part of who I am and my identity, my beliefs, my way of life, everything. And living there was, for the last 3 years, has been a real grounding experience and enriching. It's frustrating as hell to be there. There's no doubt about it, because of the inadequacies of the government and the civil institutions. It's broken down. It's a broken country, but still, in spite of the lack of civil structure that the government is normally expected to provide its citizens, lack of real security, stability, and infrastructure, health, education, all of those basic requirements that every government in the world is supposed to provide its citizens. It's still an incredibly wonderful country to be in. The way that people interact with one another, care about one another, in spite of the economic difficulties, they're suffering tragically. The economic collapse, the banking collapse, it just broke my heart to see Lebanese old women and men begging on the streets because they have no money to eat. I've never seen it before except the last few years. And children unable to go to school, unable to, they're starving in a sense, not like Gaza, God forbid, but it's a slow process. All of this has inspired me, motivated me, and pushed me to keep going. It's very difficult. It's hard to live under that pressure and that sense of responsibility, but that's how I feel. I feel I have a sense of responsibility to do whatever I can to make people around the world aware of what's going on by delivering my content on my social media, my YouTube channel in English, but always using Arabic subtitles because I know there's a huge audience that's Arabic speakers only, and to tell real stories, to tell the real stories of the people, the real stories on the ground, to interview politicians, to confront them in the parliament. This continues to motivate me because I drive for truth. I know it's not, it's a dream. It's, ideological. It's like to want truth and justice for humanity. It seems so far-fetched in this crazy world we live in now, which is all driven by economics and money and power instead of the values that make us humans. And this is what we have to change. It doesn't mean we have to just give into it. And that's my inspiration. And that's why I continue to stand up for Lebanon and devote my time to this cause, especially what's coming up Sunday, the 24th, to push for that.
Thanks, Daisy. There's a lot of work that you're driving, and there is no one, and I can hand on heart say that in my experience, that knows Lebanon, has reported on Lebanon, lived in Lebanon like you, and what a great spokesperson for our community to have you heading this campaign. Before we go to a final question that I'd like you to answer, could you describe a little bit about what you expect from people come the 24th of November, whether that be someone from a Lebanese background or a non-Lebanese background? What do you want from people on that day, and what can we expect if we attend the vigil?
Well, first of all, it's a call out to everyone who's Lebanese and anyone who is a friend of Lebanon or connected, who knows the Lebanese here in Australia and how wonderful our community is and how we've contributed so much to Australia. Everyone who knows Lebanon, who wants to actually defend, sovereignty, independence, who believes in democracy, needs to come out next Sunday. You need to be present, because if we're not out there in numbers, no one's going to take us seriously. They're going to think the Lebanese don't even care about Lebanon. They're not even coming out to stand up for our rights, to stand up for our independence. So everyone needs to give up 2 hours of your time. Come out to the event, the Sydney Vigil, that's being held at Holroyd Gardens in Merrylands. Beautiful grounds, kindly and generously offered to us by Cumberland Council and supported by Mayor Ola Hamad, which we, are so grateful for all of the support they're giving us, because it is a huge community in that area as well. And we wanted to take it to the heart of the Lebanese community. So we call on everybody to get out there next Sunday. Tell your friends, tell your family. You can afford 2 hours out of your entire life to show us, the Australian government, to show the global community that we Lebanese here in Australia are seriously concerned and demand that action be taken to support Lebanon's sovereignty. And by standing up and coming to the vigil and lighting a candle, we're going to have a huge Lebanese flag, and people are able to place a candle on that flag to say a prayer for those lives that have been lost so far and the souls of all those Lebanese martyrs that have died for Lebanon in the past, defending our sovereignty. So we want you to be there from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. and make sure you tell everyone you know about it. you can afford 2 hours of your life to give to Lebanon. This is important.
Thank you, Daisy. I cut off there. Don't know why, but that definitely that enthusiasm showed through. Probably blew my bandwidth away. 4 p.m. Gardens at Holroyd. Bring your family, your friends. Definitely come down to support Lebanon, to defend its independence, and as you've said clearly before, to unite in terms of this campaign under the one umbrella. I know the Lebanese government is very unique, and everybody's encouraged for their differences in opinion and political parties. But for this campaign, you're calling on all the Lebanese people to unite under this one umbrella, hands off Lebanon, and let's defend the country that we all know and love. So if you had one message for the Australian government, what would that message be? If you had one message to clearly communicate to them, given everything that's happened and your experience living and working in Lebanon, what would you say?
There's so much to say, honestly. And it's a
one message.
My message.
I'll keep you to brief.
My message to the Australian government is to just defend justice and look at international law. We're not asking for anything other than what you demand for your country, for Australia, what you demand for the Australian citizens. We ask you to defend Lebanon's rights and the citizens of Lebanon's rights for their sovereignty and independence. That's all we ask for.
Thank you, Daisy. And how can we keep connected to this work and connected with you?
All you have to do is go to my social media accounts, where I'll be sharing all of the posts, keeping you updated on the developments over the next week. All of the information related to the event is posted today. We launched the second post for this event. It's all under Daizy Gedeon, so you've got my spelling there. It's very easy to find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Everything will be mostly on the Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn accounts. And then, just the Lebanese Australian, there's a lot of people supporting us. Josh Mansour, Wendy El-Khoury, there's a great deal of influencers who are out there supporting the cause. Antoinette Lattouf, Jan Fran, people who would love to be with us, but because of their legal situations aren't going to join us, but are completely backing us. The Palestinian groups are supporting us as we've supported them. And so it's time for Lebanese, Christian, Muslim, Druze, whatever we are, to really show the world what Lebanon means to us. So stay posted on all of my socials. And thank you, Oz Arab Media.
Thank you, Daisy. We'll wrap up there. Please, for all those listening, viewing this now or later, 4 p.m. at Holroyd, bring your friends and family, and let's stand in solidarity with Lebanon as we unite under this campaign led by Daisy. Thank you for your time, Daisy, and I wish you all the best in this next chapter.